Yo,
That
guys, what's up? Yes, it's me, TD Bappo.
hello
Welcome back
everyone.
to another episode of TD Talks. I know it's been uh like
A
two
hot
days
minute.
since our scheduled uh
Super hot.
TD
Hot
Talks
minute.
episode,
Super hot
but
minute.
we're back. What are you guys talking about? Hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. It's like a turn of phrase.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
All
been a
right.
hot
So
minute.
welcome, guys. Welcome. So
Hello.
together with me, I'm joined by the G Bros as well as TD Slice Bread down
The
below.
third G bro.
The third G bro.
The third G Bros.
Hello
So welcome,
everyone.
welcome. How is everyone, guys? How let's have a little vibe check. How are you guys doing today? On a Thursday
Yeah.
afternoon. What's happening?
Yeah,
You guys first. You guys first.
super exciting actually. People are showing up because, of course, they are excited for the Thunder Junction Outlaws. Pew 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 PR
Yeah.
passes. Gonna shout out the Magic Boys, and of course, the Vanguard and Waste people are also excited because next week would be the Bush Road Spring Fest, so people are practicing
Yeah.
for the.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you, Carlo?
Yeah. Been busy streaming, been busy looking at all of these new beautiful cards right now. Currently rewriting my script for the judge call for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. We've already secured a ride. We've already secured a costume. I've already secured a
Wait,
Let's
what?
go.
There's
a
a costume.
videographer. Yes, there's a costume, guys. Yeah. My my
That's
mark
cool.
my
Down.
mark my Murders of Markov manner was really lower production that I would want to have, but Outlaws of Thunder Junction will make up for that. So we will be shooting off like outside the city actually. So it's all good.
Ooh,
Nice, nice.
okay,
All
we're
right,
excited
so
for
looking
that.
good on both or all ends of our TCG. I just want to do a quick shout out to Ives Rementina for winning our flagship battle event
Yeah.
just last week. So it was pretty good. It was a very close match as well because he came up in the finals against Jico. Shoutouts to Davao Magic Shop again and the team
It's One Piece, right?
for showing up. Yep, this is One Piece.
One
So
Piece.
grabe, they like down to the wire talaga yung games nila. And it was another Cagayan versus Davao. A little bit of rivalry
Rivalry.
for both communities, but a friendly
Yeah.
rivalry nonetheless, because they did get us from the Flesh and Blood Nationals, Road to Nationals event.
Mm.
And this time we were able to defend the land
Defend the
for
Defend the
land.
One
land.
Piece. So yeah, ayan lang, a very, very friendly competition for both the communities. So thank you once again, guys, for showing your support. So anyway, let's get started on the uh, financials. But this is going to be a special version of TD Finance because we're going to be talking about the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which is the upcoming set for Magic the Gathering.
So
All right, so here we have a list of cards from the spoiled Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I myself am very excited about this set because, uh, aside from the fact that we've seen some very cool new cards in the set,
Yep.
we're also seeing a ton of awesome reprints, like Mana
Yeah.
Drain for for starters. Like, why would you put Mana Drain in this set? And then you can even
Uh-huh.
draft it on your limited events. So if you're
Yup.
playing the pre-release next week, and then you pull a Mana Drain, like it's an auto win for you. But
You win the
I want to
day.
talk. Yeah, I want to talk about these new cards, especially one of my favorite characters in the game,
Oh my god. I
Oko,
wonder
the
why.
ringleader. So he is running
Your
at
boy.
$35.
Whoa.
Originally 36 because you saw the daily change, or rather 39. It started like $40 last week, uh, or rather when it was spoiled. But that's like standard pre-sale price. I would say 40 is the fair price for this card, just because of how strong the card is. Like when you see a planeswalker that can put a lot of pressure on the board by himself, that's not something to scoff about. So uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think if the card's price keeps on dipping a little bit further because of the pre-sale hype, and then people would start to scrounge up for decks until we start to see the card in action, especially on the constructed format. Uh, on the EDH side, I guess it's a decent card if you're playing its colors, blue green. But other than that, I'm very excited for standard and pioneer format for this card because it's very good. Like the card itself is good, so it's a huge buff to those blue green decks, especially if you're not doing so well in the metagame for those formats. In standard, you got the Esper, the five color domain decks, and mono red if you're into the aggro side. In Pioneer, you got these combo decks, control decks, as well as the Rakdos Vampires, which is the best mid range deck right now in the format. So this is a good card. And this is my bet for like really going all in in the set. What do you guys think? You guys have any other cards to look out for in this upcoming set?
Yeah, I think what I'm excited for would be Slick Show Off because of course I'm the
You're the
aggro
red
guy.
guy.
There is the
Ah,
Slick Shot
yes,
Show Off. I want that birdie, the prowess birdie.
yeah. Ledger
Oh, that's
Shredder's long lost cousin
more
got
in
caught
your
in the
cousin.
Thunder Junction. So for those who can't see the card, Show Off is a bird wizard that has flying haste for 1/2 body. When you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. It's basically almost a prowess variant. And then it has plot. It has a new mechanic called plot, which is you may
Mm-hmm.
pay it its cost to exile it, and then you may cast it on another turn for free at sorcery. So I think it's a good way to chain off some of your spells, especially if you're in the prowess, uh, bandwagon. So I think it's also pretty good. At $12, it may be a little bit too expensive for my
Yeah.
taste. I would like to see it dip a little bit further to like $5, and then maybe it would start stabilizing when people start uh, using the card. So, but yeah, I think $12 is not bad for a pre-sale price. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what price would you like to see if you want to get this card, uh, G bro?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think
$2.
it's right that it's too expensive right now, especially since we don't even know how much it will affect the meta. But basing the stats alone, it's gonna be a good card either way.
Yes. Ikaw, Carl,
Yeah.
do you have any decks to, try out for this new card?
For that in particular, that will very easily slot into any mono red shell. So it's good on its own. So it will find a place. That card in particular will find a place because anything that red has that is evasive is always highly picked. So yeah, that guy will find a place
Hmm.
for
I think it's also good uh, since Mono Red Aggro in Standard is playing the legendary creature, Godric. So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you curve
Godric. That
out,
is correct.
yeah, with this card, let's say you don't have Command on turn one, you have a Switch Spear. Turn two, you can plot this. Yes, you lose
Mm-hmm.
a ton of damage
Yeah,
by not
damage.
playing it. You use the plot mechanic to exile it. And then next turn, you play Slick Shot Show Off into Godric. Then Godric
SS
uh,
off.
yeah,
Uh,
goes
yeah.
off as a dragon as well. So you still get some of your damage back, which is not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So it's also another way
One.
of playing around the
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
celebration card.
That is true. That is true. Just the mere fact that you can untap on turn four, hoping your opponent doesn't touch this. Any shock effects, any spells will turn this on, and three damage in the air is not nothing. Three damage
Yeah,
in the air is
and
not nothing. Yep.
and the deck is already running Monstrous Rage, so it's
Yeah.
a very good
Yes.
card to
Yes.
throw off. So you use Monster's Rage, it gets +2, so it's 3, and then it's another 3 damage from Monster's Rage himself with the
Yes,
buff
sir.
on the roll token, and then
Mm-hmm.
+2. So that's 6 damage
That's
by
six
himself.
damage. That's not nothing.
And it's
Good
flying, so
lord.
it's a little bit harder to block, which is
Yes.
kind of the theme that we're seeing with some of these mono red cards. Like a lot of evasion. There's like another card in the set that's pretty good. It's a one drop, 1/2 haste, first strike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like
the
you don't see
domination.
Reckless
that.
Lucky.
Yeah,
Reckless
Yeah,
you
Lucky.
don't see that often in some of your one drops. The last time we saw that was in Eldraine with the Fervent Champion.
Yeah, Fervent
Uh,
Champion, yeah.
I missed that card, Mr. Javier Dominguez,
Yeah.
with
So
the
somewhat
awesome.
Reckless Lucky is also very good like late game because it has the ability to in a red sacrifice it, draw a card and create a token.
Yeah,
Where do
yeah,
you
yeah.
see that in red?
It's a good utility, especially if you
Yes.
drag things into the late game. So you just want to top
Yeah,
deck
yeah.
your burn spells and then just finish off the game from the lackey. All
Mm-hmm.
right. One thing I would mention as well is the return of
Yeah.
the fast lands, the enemy
Mm-hmm.
fast lands, or is it the
Enemy
allied?
fast lands.
The
Enemy,
enemy
enemy.
fast lands, because we've been waiting for
yeah, the
so long for these
calendars.
guys to come back, and they finally reprinted it. I wish it was just a set earlier, but I would see why they put
Mm-hmm.
it here because they're really going off with this set. Like,
They're going out. Yeah.
and then they have the borderless. The borderless art looks really sick as well.
Mm-hmm.
But now is like a really good time to pick up these fast lands because the prices are gonna definitely drop
Dip.
like
Yeah.
really quick as the set
How
gets released. I
mm-hmm.
remember
How
this
much is it now? How much are
Spire
those now?
Bluff. It's running at $11, but the
Whoa.
first print is running at 15 $16.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Mm.
especially this card. This card is like the most sought after
Yeah.
because it's played in all formats, modern, pioneer.
Pioneer.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
now we're gonna
correct.
see it in standard. So the blue red decks are gonna go off definitely, especially
Mm-hmm.
with this card. This is a
Yeah.
happy bird if I ever seen one.
Yeah, that's true. Blue Red in particular will really enjoy this set. Like looking at all of the pew 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 and the casting of second spell shenanigans. It's crazy.
Uh huh. Other than that, it's still hard to say what cards are gonna be really eating up the
Yeah.
formats. There are some obvious ones. Usually, the ones that are high up here in the $20 mark. But they're usually dictated by the commander format.
Yes.
So we'll have to wait and see. Like Tiny Bones, Final Showdown. I don't see any
Final showdown.
application in constructed, maybe modern and legacy, but this is definitely a powerhouse in your commander decks. So like an
Yep.
instant speed board wipe with
Instant
utility
speed
on
board
top
wipe.
of it. So
Goodness.
because when you do an instant speed board wipe with the humility effect, that turns off all the death triggers, which is
Uh-huh.
insane if you're playing a commander
Or yeah,
game.
or
So
indestructible as well, just to go through indestructible also.
I would like to see this card running at $20 maybe, so it could
That's
somewhat be
fair.
fairer. Yeah, and then
Oh,
just probably take off when people start having cards already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but other than that,
It's
I'm not
crazy.
see unless I'm missing something. I'm not gonna be expecting to see it in your other constructed formats like Pioneer, Standard, not so much. So, does it
It's
shut
free.
down enter the battlefield effects? I don't think so, right?
It does not.
Yeah, unlike
Enter the yeah, because it only affects creatures that gets applied to it. Anything that comes
as it
after
resolves. Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. As it
so
resolves,
it's not the
yes.
same
Everything
as dress down. Dress down is like way
yes.
better
Dress down is
if you're
static.
looking that kind of effect.
So yep. Dress down
Yeah.
is static, so it doesn't matter if it came before or after, it will lose all abilities. This one is just as it resolves.
Yes. All right. I think that's it for me with regards to Outlaws. We will have a separate stream for the set. We'll have a set review for this. Probably, I keep saying like the next day, but I never find the time to do it. Probably have it tomorrow or Saturday, depending on the schedule. But we will have that set review uh, in connection to the upcoming pre-release event next week.
Yes.
So if you haven't pre-registered, be sure to get one now, because the slots are gonna eat up. Guys, the reprints are insane in the set. So
Yeah.
uh, you lose a ton of value if you don't join. Right. Passing the
Yeah.
ball to the G Bros.
Yes,
What is
thank
the
you very
news
much.
for OP and Vanguard?
Sure. Let's go first with Vanguard. Here you go, Anzo. Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome. So, what is first? Okay. So, no, yeah, sure. Okay. So, here we have Suggest and Spiral Kitty Angel, reaching around 3,000 yen and 2,000 yen in Japan. These are considered staples for the Keter Sanctuary, and these are the main reasons as to why the deck is very expensive as of right now. So these, so if you have any of these in your, if you have an extra, sell it, because Spiral Kitty Angel is going to be reprinted in the BCS promotion packs. BSF, yeah, BSF promotion packs, I mean. So hopefully it will be lowering in price in English, but as for Japan, yeah, it sucks for them. And another here is this one, Aurora Prattle Princess, a little royal. So this card is was very cheap on release. It was about $1 each. But with the new support revealed, this is now commanding around $6. So I think this is mostly just high prices as of right now. It will be going down soon enough, but it will be most likely around $3 stabilizing. So if you have any of these, offload this right now. But if you do want, if you want to gamble your bets, I think it will be one of those cards that will be expensive in the future because it is very staple for person decks. So over to Anton. Yes, and here we go. I'll only be showing one card for One Piece because there isn't really much anything new prices. I mean, the latest thing that happened, of course, was dun, 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 the banning of Sakazuki, rejects, and main option. And without black, yellow is now at an all-time high. People are expecting yellow to be the best deck, and that is why yellow 10 cost ace is rising back in price because, of course, without the black deck making yellow's life difficult, it will be most likely the best deck end of the month once again. So that's why this is uh, around 1,500 pesos if the conversion is correct. So that is all for One Piece. And back to
Nice,
you,
nice,
Joe.
nice. All right. Thank you, G Bros. Let's move on to the top deck of the week, because we got some spicy decks to talk about over the past week, and especially here at Top Deck. All right. So starting off at Magic, I want to be talking about the deck that performed so well in the previous pre-release pass event uh, just 2 days ago. This is the Amalia combo deck in Pioneer. So the reason I want to talk about this because it did so well uh, at the hands of John Dave Amto. Congratulations to him. We will be seeing him at the pre-release event next week for Outlaws, and the deck definitely performed. Uh, I If you've watched the stream last Tuesday, the deck is just there's a reason why people are playing this deck. Like the namesake of this deck is Amalia Benavides Aguirre. So it has Ward 3. It's a 2/2 2 mana Vampire Scout. Whenever you gain life, Amalia explores, then destroy all creatures if its power is equal to 20. So you have your basic Amalia combo with Wild Growth Walker, and then you have any life gain trigger, and the combo goes off. The crazy thing about this deck is you can do it at instant speed with Chord of Calling and what do you call this? Collected Company. But this deck is not running that. Rather, it shaved off a couple of collected companies. It used to run four, but now it's adapting to the meta by playing some interactive cards such as Thoughtseize. Uh, Normally, you don't run those cards in this type of deck because it would mess up the uh, conversion rate of the combo. But uh, I guess the deck is trying to adapt to the metagame as of this moment because it's very heavy on the control decks and the Rakdos mid range decks, especially the vampires, is taking off. So but the best thing about this deck is it has Return to the Ranks, which creates a lot of recursion. So in case your opponent starts answering your combo pieces, you just have to return them to the battlefield right off, and then they'll have to deal with the combo again. And then when it comes to aggro, they don't have to worry about it because there's a lot of life gain in the deck. And then when you get the combo, you'll probably end up having like 100 life point total. Sideboard plan, you have the mirror match, breaker, Knight of Dust Shadow, more interaction like Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, Archon of Emeria for some combo decks like Lotus. Uh, and there's your third copy of Collected Company, and then some mid-range game plan with Sentinel of the Nameless City and Thrun, Breaker of Silence. This is definitely for the control deck because I think it has a very bad matchup with blue-white control. So you definitely need some cool cards to hedge up against those matchups. And then if your opponents have a lot of interaction like Phoenix, or Rakdos mid range. You have Tamio Safekeeping to protect your combo pieces. Selfless Savior is a creature that you can bring it back. You have two in the main board, one in the sideboard for that extra protection. Giant Killer, I believe, is for some specific matchups that heavily rely on uh, big creatures such as Vein Ripper. You don't have to worry about sacrificing some of your creatures because you have a lot. It's a creature based combo deck. So paying the ward is not an issue. And I guess you could deal with Atraxa in those creativity decks or the Jund Transmogrify, which is also like having a comeback in the past couple of weeks in the previous regional championships. But overall, this is what the deck does. Like anything that plays Court of Calling means like it's gonna be trouble for the opponent. So, and I would like to get my hats off to John Day for pulling the W in the previous event. So congratulations. What do you guys think about this deck? Do you? I'm pretty sure Anton hates this deck because he's an aggro deck. He doesn't want to deal with this crap.
I like the deck. Uh,
Oh,
the issue with the deck, of course, is that you can just answer either of the combo pieces, either Amalia or Walker. But now with the news, with the spoilers for especially the big score, so seeing
mm.
Grand Abolisher, my
Yeah,
God,
yeah. That,
why did they put Grand Abolisher in standard? That means Amalia has another protection for those combo pieces. That's the issue I'm seeing right now. It's
yeah,
gonna be
that's
a
gonna be
better
sick.
deck in the future. Yeah.
Then that would mean if I were to play this deck, I think the card that I would cut is the Thoughtseize, because
Mm-mm.
just to make then I would play around the mana base again, just to lean towards the white side, so I can cast Grand Abolisher because that's a very sick card to have in this deck. You just want to force your opponents to deal with your stuff, and then having a magnet type of card such as Grand Abolisher means that they'll run out of resources to deal with your combo. So uh, I think it's very
You have
exciting
to give
for
me the
Amalia.
Abolisher first
And
before Amalia.
yeah, that
Yeah.
burst of combo plus a lot of annoying cards to deal with. Even as extraction specialist is
Better have two
basically
removals.
yeah an extra card to have. Like if he deals your Amalia, extraction specialist that brings back any creature, so even Amalia and
Yeah.
Wild Growth Walker. So very sick,
It's
and I
a,
can't wait for the new version to come out in Outlaws.
that's true. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
just the way it wins the game is just it's the kind of deck that makes sure that when the combo goes off, you get to win right after because we have the Kami Kami wave artifact there, or just Amalia swinging in for 1 million. That's all they
Yeah,
need.
the
Well,
reservoir.
just 20. Just it just swings for 20.
So
Mm.
yeah.
So, um, although the deck is kind of complicated because there are some specific lines where if you're going for the uh, mirror matchup, then Tamio safekeeping could pull you into a draw. For those who are not aware, the judge community basically updated, or rather, even Wizards recognized that they updated the rule set of having the combo go infinite. So if you have Amalia going off with the triggers, and then she goes up to 20, and then you create an indestructible effect on Wild Growth Walker using Tamio's safekeeping, then the loop doesn't stop. So uh,
You know.
the only option for the player, or the only thing left for him to do, is to mill himself. Uh, but then he doesn't have any other actions unless he has a way to destroy the Wild Growth Walker and stop the combo, or like get it into exile, or maybe stop Amalia herself. So the rulings for this is if the combo keeps on going, it forces both players into a draw or a
A
stalemate.
draw.
So yeah, shout out to Chris and Alpha. Yeah, and that's what makes this deck kind of frustrating to play if you're expecting a lot of mirror matchups. Uh, but uh, I think the advantage of that is if you're one game ahead, you don't want to be doing that combo if you're behind, because I think that
Mm-hmm.
would lead. Yeah, if I'm not correct me if I'm wrong, Carlo, but if you're 1-0 and then you proceed to do the combo, or
Mm-hmm.
rather the infinite loop, which forces the draw, does it
Mm-hmm.
turn into a 2-1 score?
No, it does not.
Ah,
It
it it
means that
it validates
it
the game.
it
Okay, okay,
yes, you have to play another game. It's
okay.
not
Yeah,
that you play into a draw, it means you win. No, it's you have to play. You have to win 2 games
yeah.
in a
Okay,
best
so
out of
it's
three.
it's
Yeah.
the same that they did with the Pro Tour, the previous Pro
Mm-mm.
Tour. Uh, like we basically saw a top eight where it had a best of seven because they just
Yes.
kept drawing the mirror match. They just kept drawing. No, it wasn't a
Yep.
mirror
That's
match.
how
It
it
was
works.
it wasn't a mirror match. It was Simon Nielsen running the Boros heroic, and then he had I think a similar card that does the indestructible effect, and then he targeted
Mm-hmm.
it on the Wild Growth Walker. So that was a very awkward uh, like series of games where they ended up having like 7 games in total. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's supposed to be like a easy best of 5. But yeah, if you get the hang of the deck, eventually you'll tend to avoid having those types of matchups. But if you do, you better do your homework and make sure that you don't get caught off guard. um, I mean, the easy answer is to win the first game, right? Like, and then when your
Mm-hmm.
opponent times out, then you have the upper hand, having that 1-0 victory instead of like forcing to win with that type of situation. All right,
Yep.
I think there's not much for me to talk about the deck. It's very annoying to go up against. If you have the deck already, I would suggest keeping it because it's going to have a huge upgrade in the upcoming set. So let us move on to the next games, One Piece and Vanguard. Give us
And
the
here
good
we
stuff,
go with
boys.
Vanguard first. Hello, guys. So this is I'll be featuring Zedlands. This is a deck that is coming into the new Triple Drive booster. Well, it's not new anymore. It's been 2 weeks late, but still. So we gotta keep up the hype. So Triple Drive booster. So what Triple Drive booster is mostly a reprint set. They released 2 new decks with it, and this is one of them. This is Zedlands. So Zedlands is a deck reliant on getting its forge cards, which allows itself to tap itself to give any of your units plus 5,000 power. So this deck is really reliant on setting up your forge, and using its effect to give power to your units. And then if you activated any forge 3 times, then you can restand with your Vanguard effect. So this deck is very simple but very strong because with your forge effects giving big beefy power to your rear guards, and then having your vanguard be a restanding vanguard. So this deck just punches your opponents in the face, and you don't have to think about it. So is this deck any good? Not really. It's not considered any meta pick, but it's very strong and very cheap. And I think a lot of people will be making this deck because it's very easy to get in the triple dive booster, and that's why I decided to feature it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
thank you very much, Anjo.
Whoa.
So yeah, buy Triple Dive Booster, guys. It will be coming soon to top the games. So now we will be moving on to One Piece, and here we go. Like I said, it's the Yellow Nation, my Yellow Nation, my dudes. And here we go with Portcat Ace blue yellow version. Effect is Dawn times two. If you put two Dawn in this card, look at the top five cards of your deck. Add one of any five cost characters and put it to the top of your line face up. Then place the remaining cards of the bottom of your deck. At the end of your turn, trash all your face cards of your life. So you'll ask yourself, why would I even want to use this effect? It's because, of course, of the baby versions of the cards. The baby versions can trash themselves and check for the top of your line for a five cost version of their adult self. So you use the leader skill to put a five cost version and then play the baby to cheat out the adult versions from life. So this deck is fairly aggressive. You can easily search and tutor for their cards and then cheat them out with the baby versions for an early play with the ace, which means rush, monkey Luffy with having two versions, having two versions, and of course the blue cards, which are utilities such as Charlotte Pudding and Ulti and Pilaf, of course, the favorite part of Greed draws two cards. Huh?
Oh yeah,
Actually,
yeah. Pilaf.
mentioned Inanna Draw Tour. And of course the Gum Gum No Red Rock. So this deck before not was very strong, but very susceptible to black being able to just remove any cards you cheat out early. But of course, black is no longer an issue with Sakazuki no longer in the playing field. But of course, there is still such decks as Rob Lucci, and I think the new Sakazuki leader will be coming, and of course Moria, but it's no longer as susceptible to removal because Lucci and Moria needs to actually have to put an effort into removing your cards. So that's why this is my top deck of the week for One Piece. And what do you think, guys?
Hmm. I think it's very exciting for the upcoming decks to rise, especially after Sakazuki's leave. Pero I did hear that yes, people are saying that the new Sakazuki sucks because it's not literally the same, but there are some uh, hearsay about how it's kind of decent. It's a decent replacement. It's not like literally going to be the deck to beat, but it still kind of does the job. I don't know about that or if you've ever checked about the deck, but when is the new Sakazuki coming out? Is it on the
Should
next set?
be April. No, it's a promo card. They are not.
A promo
It's
card.
yeah, it's gonna be given out to players or
So
shop. Yeah,
So
shop
tournaments,
or
yeah.
just tournaments, joining tournaments.
I see, I see. But what do you
Yeah,
guys
but
think? Do you think it might have a comeback
different
in the meta
promo
game?
Sakazuki. Old Sakazuki is the card filter. Uh, with the new Sakazuki, you don't get to draw another card by discarding. You just minus one. So yeah, card filter is
Ah,
really the
yeah, yeah.
reason why Sakazuki is very strong.
I see, I
Yeah.
see.
So
That's the deal
same.
breaker, the draw. But if you still want to play the shell, I think the shell is still strong. It's just that some of these decks are definitely gonna have a cut at the new meta game. So I
Mm.
think the uh, I forgot what the ace does again. Is that the part where you cheat the top of your deck?
Yeah, you look at the top five and then place one five cost to the top of your life.
Yeah. So which
Yeah.
card are we expecting in the new set that might have a huge upgrade on this?
Um, Not much to be honest. It's just
It's
very good.
okay.
It was just held back because of Sakazuki. So it's still a
Ah,
very
okay.
good deck. We will be expecting more blue white beard pirates. So that is exciting. especially for video game.
Mm.
Marco, another is a Whitebeard pirate leader and is also blue red. So we will be expecting some cards that will work for Marco will also work for Ace. So
Oh, what is this? Jim says there is a magazine exclusive Sabo. Is that going to be part
yeah,
of the?
that's not you.
It's
Ooh,
an
okay.
upgrade for the ST13 leaders. I think someone is clicking. ah,
Yeah, so I think super exciting stuff for One Piece. I really like how they are just giving out promos, makes the game exciting because those promos can actually affect the meta most of the time.
yeah. That's what I like about One Piece, and I'm really hoping that Wizards takes a couple of notes from some of these card games because we badly need
Yeah,
promos, like good
we need
promos.
magazine
Yes.
promos again.
Come
Yes,
on,
yes,
Wizards,
yes.
But they-
give us game day back.
The funny thing right now is like going back to that thing about promos is the upcoming store champs. The three promos: participation, top eight, and champion are all cards that come from one modern deck. So I don't understand. But it was recently told to us in a recent WPN meeting that the promos were particularly chosen to get standard players into modern. So hi Wizards. I
Ah,
think we need another meeting.
it's a sign to play modern. Oh yeah, and of course we will be having Modern League for top deck just in time
Great
for the
segue to our modern league.
great segue. Join the top deck
yes, please
league, guys.
join. I
Modern
want to
League.
play my I want to play my Merfolk again because I got my ass whooped in Thailand. I was like so excited to play my favorite deck in the format, and then round one, Amulet Titan. It's the worst matchup you could ever ask for. Why? Dang it!
Damn
Well,
fish.
that's basically my fault for picking the deck because I just love it so much.
That's true. Anyway,
Anyways,
thank you.
up next, do we have one? Oh, we already talked about the Vanguard. Uh, Probably something similar to the modern event deck back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Hoping,
was
I'm
fun.
hoping that we get those back as well. Or maybe you could, tone down on power creeps in older formats.
Oh
Because,
good.
by the way, guys, Modern Horizons 3 is on its way, and uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we're definitely going to see another shakeup in the meta. It's another rotation for Modern. All
The
right,
rotation of
so
modern.
last but not the least, let us move on to the judge call portion.
Hello
Take it away,
everyone.
Carlo.
Good morning. Thanks. Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your local friendly level 1 judge with today's episode of Mini Judge Call. The last episode was kind of easy, so I'm going to shake it up a little bit. Let's say you have a Courser of Crew Fix in play, and the top card of the library is a breeding pool. You declare to your opponent that you're going to play the breeding pool. So here's the question: will you be able to see the next card after the breeding pool on top of your library, so you can decide whether to pay the 2 life or not? The question here is: can you see the next card if breeding pool is below the breeding pool is on top of the next card, or the breeding pool is on top of your library? Can you see underneath
When you
Yeah.
play Breeding Pool,
when you play breeding pool from the top of your library as the effect of course of crew fix? Will you be able to see if you say, I declare I will land drop the breeding pool from the top of my library? Will you be able to see the land below the land, sorry, the card
Right.
below it?
oh, we got some answers on the uh,
Yes.
Yes,
on the
yes,
The
comment
chat
section.
no.
We got
here.
a yes, we got a yes, and we got a no. Interesting. I would say
Yes.
yes
You
because
would say yes. Okay.
Courser has the triggered effect. When you play a land, you gain life. So when that trigger goes on the stack, priority goes back to you, and you still have the ability to look at the top using Courser
Mm-hmm.
Crewfix. So you just have to ask your opponent, I'm gonna look at the top while the
Mm-hmm.
trigger's on the stack. So that
Mm-hmm.
would be my thought process
Your
when
thought
I
process. G
when I see
Bros.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a
Thank you.
static ability. Doesn't go into a stack, so you just play with your top card of your deck revealed. So anytime,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you just reveal it every time, all the time.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
All right.
That's my thought
So
process.
I will go back to the question before I reveal the answer. Will you be able to see the next card after breeding pool so you can decide whether to pay the two life or not? All right. The answer is no. The two
Hmm.
life is
Oh
a
no, no,
replacement.
no! Now I get the question. The question is when you pay, whether you decide to pay the two
Yeah,
life or
can you
not.
see?
Okay, that
Yeah,
changes everything. I was like,
yeah.
what?
So, to answer the question, it's no. Craig in the chat was correct. The two life is a replacement effect. As such, it is applied, and the decision to pay the two life happens before it enters. At this point, when you're trying to decide whether to pay the two life or not, that card is still on top of your library. So, as that process is happening, as the breeding pool is still entering, you still cannot see the top card of your library because at that point it's still on top of your library.
Ah,
Yeah. So
because it's
when you're
still coming
deciding to,
in.
it's still
Oh.
coming in. Yes, correct. So it hasn't moved zones yet from your library to the battlefield. So when it's already there and you're thinking, will I pay to life or not? During that decision of paying the to life or not, breeding pool is still the top card of your library. So you cannot see what's under there and make a decision based on what's the next card. Your breeding pool will still be the top card when you're making that decision.
Hmm.
All right,
That's
Very
very
commander
good.
players, take note because
yes.
this is definitely gonna come up a lot in your
Hmm.
commander games. Speaking of
Yep.
which, Outlaws Commander Night is upcoming. So after release, we're gonna have another event for that. So get
Hmm.
ready.
Yes.
Wag ko
A
ni
lot.
basa sa question.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, same,
Reading.
same.
I thought it was
Same.
when.
No, no, I didn't read as well. So
Yeah,
I
the
think
question was good.
Craig, attorney
Read the
Craig, is
question.
definitely the winner here because he definitely read the question. We were just reading if we
Reading the
could see
question.
after playing. So the question was, will
Yeah,
you
the
be
question.
able to see the next card after breeding pool, so you can decide whether to pay? Yeah, I did not read the last two lines right there. Di kinabutanan kay yes.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Thank you.
No, no, it's
Oh, yeah,
DQ na mo tanan.
that
Anyway, yeah.
that's my
Yeah,
joint.
that's just an very interesting interaction with these kind of cards. So yeah, we will be adding more to that on top of our weekly judge calls. I'll try to make it more challenging as these ones because the previous ones were more focused on the actual set of like Markov. So those are just like straightforward stuff. But things like this, timings on replacement effects, that's where you have the fun. And no, I'm not gonna do any humility plus blood moon plus
humility.
no, no. It's tiring to make those questions. It's tiring to answer
Humility
those
with
questions. So
Magus
I
of the
will
Moon.
not.
Pwede man, pwede. You could actually do one, just one, Carla, just one
Just
episode, because
one episode of you
I missed
humility.
having these questions of like super complicated layer effects, type of
Yeah.
thing. Because a lot of Magic players are not familiar with how layering works. So if
Mhm.
we could have at least one episode of talking about
All right.
that
Sure.
segment,
Sure.
that would be
That
great.
makes sense.
Like for example, like you know, you have an artifact that turned into a creature, or like a vehicle that turned into a creature, and then you might like plus one with Oko turning it into an elk.
Stop it. Stop it.
I want to see those types of questions.
Jeez. All right. Got it. Got it. Got it. That's it for
Can't
me.
believe
Over
Carlo
to
got
you
you
guys,
there.
G Bros.
Thank
Over
you
to
very
G
much,
Bros.
Carlos. That was
Thank you.
very insightful. I love those types of questions. So now here we go with Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
Pass the ball to Anjo.
Ooh, okay, so here we go. So during the stride phase, Evan uses the conk ability of Dreadful Luard to stride into a stride unit. So Luard has the ability wherein if instead of discarding a card to stride, pay CD4 and choose to return a unit from your drop zone into your deck. And if you have any G1s, this is reduced by one
One.
more CB, and we're one CBS. Okay. So as Evan has four grade ones in his drop zone, uh, the cost now becomes
Zero.
return a card to the bottom of the deck and no CD. So during the end phase, Evan then attempts to activate the effect of his Luard Crest, which in the effect is at the end of your turn, if you strolled without paying any cost this turn, you may return one critical trigger to the bottom of your deck. You as the opponent tell him that this is not allowed. So why is Evan not allowed to return a critical trigger with Draghard Luard Crest effect? Next.
Because of
Okay.
Blood Moon.
WordPress is an auto ability when you stride without paying the cost. Dragfall Luard is a replacement ability pay for the stride. Even if you did not technically pay any cost, such as the CB, and you still paid by returning a card to the bottom of the deck. So compare that to the effect of Dragfall Luard, wherein it says return two cards to the bottom of the deck and you may stride without paying. So that is the only ability as of now that can trigger the crest effect. So since Evan paid for stride by returning a card to the bottom with Dragfall Luard's effect, he paid for stride and did not meet the criteria for the crest effect.
Yeah.
So I think
Oh.
confused by that a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so di lang magic ang may replacement effects.
Yeah. I think this is the first time I've
Yes.
ever heard of a replacement effect being used in Vanguard. So it kind of sounds similar. But what would be the difference if I were to compare it to Magic? Like,
So
is there any
basically,
difference?
Lord says, uh, do this and you do not need to pay anything for the next spell. While
Ah,
um,
free unlock.
while the red Lord, this one, the red Lord, this one, Dragfall says pay X instead of doing this. So you're still technically paying the cost. So
Ah,
let's say the green Lord, this one is like plot. You pay the plot cost, but you're not using any mana to play the card.
okay.
Diba? Yeah. So basically that's it.
Yeah, and then Red Reward is like something like Force of Will,
Yeah.
where instead you're paying
Paying
the five cost, you're discarding a blue
blue
card
card and
instead. So
pay on life. Yeah.
yeah, but you're still paying
Mm-mm.
for that. Yeah, something like
It's
that.
a replacement cost.
I see.
So
I
yeah, that's
see.
yeah. Thank you very much, Anjo. So now here we go with One Piece. Mickey currently has 8 Dawn on the field and a useless Captain Kid. So I'll read the effects first. So Franosuke has the effect Dawn X1. So that means if you have an attached Dawn to this character, and if you have 8 or more Dawn on your field, this character gains Rush or Haste. Haste in magic terms. And then Useless Kid has the effect on attack, Dawn -1, return 1 Dawn from their field to the Dawn deck. So basically to your land deck. So you don't need to read anything else, just the Dawn. So let's say Mickey currently has 8 Dawn and has the Captain Kid on the field. Using 5 Dawn or 5 mana, he calls the Pranosuke and attaches 1 Dawn to it. So in this step, of course, we will be expecting Pranosuke to have Rush because we have met the Dawn ×1 and 8 Dawn.
Hmm.
Okay? But later, he swings with the Captain Kid and uses the effect to return 1 Dawn to the Dawn deck, making the current Dawn count 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does
Oh no.
Pranosuke have Rush?
Oh
What is
no.
your answer, Carlo?
I would say no.
I
So,
would
uh,
I would say first destroy the Blood Moon and then apply layer 6. Wait a second.
Can it still have
Rush
rush?
is haste, right?
It's
Rush is
haste,
haste,
yeah.
right?
Pero I'm not sure. It's still confusing to me for One Piece whether these are static effects
Hmm.
when they gain the ability or not. So
No,
I
it
wanna
doesn't.
I wanna go.
I'll say no.
I wanna say yes. I wanna say yes
I'll say
because Chris
no.
You
said
say
yes.
yes, Rush. How about you, Carlo?
I'll
Yes
say
or
no.
no? Does it have haste?
I'll say no. I'll say it doesn't
You
have
say
haste
no?
because
Okay.
Okay.
it doesn't
Ano
see
man,
the
Thank
Carl?
eighth
you very
dawn.
much. Let's see who is
It
right.
Eh,
doesn't see the eighth dawn. It doesn't see the
So,
eighth dawn.
for activation and resolution of
Ah,
effects,
okay,
to
fine.
activate an effect, you follow the procedure here. If there is a condition for activation, the conditions must
Ah,
be
there
met,
it
and the
is.
condition is the done X1. Then specify the effect to be activated, and then you resolve. And then if there are costs, you pay the cost, activate the effect, and then resolve the effect. So once
Ah, there
a
it is.
condition for an effect has been met, the effect has resolved. There is nothing that removes such effect when said condition has been unmet at a later point. So Franosuke only checks when Don S1 has been attached and counts 8 Don is on the field for it to gain rush. So only checks
Ah,
one. So
wala
the
siya eh.
moment you attach one Don and it already saw the 8 Don, it has rush. And even if you go down to, let's say, 0 Don, it still has rush because you
Still has
already
rush.
met the activation or you already met the effect. And it also applies when you remove the Don that is attached to Franosuke because, again, you already met the condition and you cannot, it does not remove the rush on Franosuke.
Hmm. I think the crucial part of this type of ruling is the ability itself.
Mm-mm.
If I'm not mistaken, Fronosuke says when it has 8 dawns on the field, you gain rush.
Yes, if that's 8
Yeah,
Don, it gains rush.
it
So
gains
it only
rush.
checks
So
once.
yeah, it gains rush. It doesn't say or like if you or rather I think the wording would be different or rather the effect would be different if it was worded differently. Uh, so I can see why it still retains its rush ability because we're used to effects in Magic such as like until end of turn or
Yeah.
like very strict restrictions,
Mm.
especially in the recent sets. Like this can only trigger once per turn or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah. The way I see it, it's like it's like One Piece doesn't have the SBA, state based actions,
Yeah.
where it's supposed to normally in Magic, once the trigger is put on the stack, it's like an intervening if clause. It checks once when it put on the stack and checks again on resolution. But the way it was explained here by the G Bros, it's like it only checked once. Once it sees eight, okay, go. It's like
Yeah,
all good.
basically.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go
You have
ahead.
rush, sure. Okay. At
So
least
yeah,
now I know for the next judge calls that One Piece does not have SBA. So okay.
so you can see why I say that One Piece is fairly easier than Magic because it's very
mhm.
straightforward. As long as you see the effect and you activate the effect, it just happens. There's nothing that's gonna stop you from or gonna confuse you from what effect activates. So,
I
All
think
right, so
we got them all.
okay, we got everything. Thank you guys for tuning in. For everyone, shout outs to the gang, Chris, Jim, Eric, Erickson, as well as Craig. Thank you guys for watching. This is Titi Bapo with the G Bros. 1, 2, 3, and slice bread. We'll see you in the next stream. Bye bye, guys. Bye bye.
That's funny. Bye guys. Thank you.
Bye bye.
uh,